As you can hear, using different instruments has a profound effect on the overall timbre of a piece. So it's important that we take a quick look at the various types of instruments available before we move on. Voices are the oldest instrument available, mostly because they're built into the human body. Until the mid-1600s, they were the primary type of music that composers wrote for in the Western world due to the influence of the church and its ban on instruments in music, which were considered to be too secular for religious use. The typical types of voice include soprano, mezzo-soprano, alto, and contralto for female voices, and countertenor, which is pretty rare, tenor, baritone, and bass for male voices. Other types exist and are occasionally called for in music, including children's choir, basso profundo, boy soprano, and castrato, although that last one is fortunately no longer used. Instruments are divided into a classification of families based on how they produce sounds. They are strings, which bow or pluck a string, causing it to vibrate, and include guitars, violins, mandolin, and bass. Woodwinds, which use a wooden reed to create vibrations when blowing across it, and include clarinet, saxophone, oboe, bassoon, and even though it doesn't have a reed, the flute. Brass, which is categorized based on the material that they're traditionally made from, even though all use a mouthpiece to carry vibrations from the performer's lips. I guess mouthpiece just doesn't sound really great when you're classifying instruments. They include trumpet, French horn, trombone, and tuba. Percussion, which is anything that is hit or struck to produce a sound. They can be of definite pitch, like timpani, xylophone, marimba, or chimes, or indefinite, like snare drum, tambourine, cymbals, gongs, or woodblock. Keyboard instruments are actually a subset of percussion, as they are played by striking a key that moves a hammer to hit strings or open stops. They are derived from the ancestor of the hammered dulcimer and include the harpsichord, piano, organ, celeste, and accordion. Electronic instruments are a really recent development, going back to the development of the theremin in 1920, and have only really been used prominently post-World War II. They are the most versatile in terms of the timbre that they can produce, but are extremely challenging to play well. They include instruments like the theremin, the Ons Martenot, synthesizers like the RCA Mark II, Moog, Buchla, and synclaviers, the tape studio, digital audio workstations like Ableton Live, Logic, Reaper, and Pro Tools, and, since 1989, programming languages that allow the manipulation of audio in real time, like MaxMSP, Pure Data, and Super Collider. Because this is such a huge topic, I'm not going to give you clips for each individual instrument. Instead, I recommend that you watch or listen to A Young Person's Guide to the Orchestra by Benjamin Britten, which will explain all of the instrumental families found in a traditional orchestra, and Silver Apples of the Moon by Morton Subotnick, which covers electronics quite nicely.